the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to INCRadio Florida. I'm one of your hosts this morning, Brother Robert DePaulis. I am super glad, super excited to have all of you joining us on the show today, because today we're going to be talking about a topic that probably pertains to how it is you're watching us today, and that's going to be, what is your favorite use of your smartphone? Now, it's going to be kind of interesting because we're going to be looking at the different favorite apps and uses amongst our hosts. We're going to have a few surprises, I think, when we find out what it is we think we were using our phones for versus what the data actually tells us we're using our phones for. But of course, let's start off by introducing everyone. Today is, of course, Saturday, the 1st of February. Unbelievable. It's now the 1st of February. And it's a little bit after 9:30 in the morning here on the East Coast of the United States, which means it's a little bit later there in the evening in the Philippines. It's about 10:30 in the evening there. Thank you so much for staying up and watching us. We're really, really hopeful that today, of course, that you are going to be learning something new about how smartphone usage has changed, how it's evolved, and really how it's really just dominated our lives. But before we do that, I wanted to toss it over to Sister Joy and say good morning to you, Sister Joy, there in Orlando. By the way, I got to tell you, I'm kind of loving the whole sunshine. You know, it kind of gives you a sunshine state of mind. Did you manufacture that?
Go. I actually did manufacture that. I mean, I can't do that on my own.
How'd you summon the sun to come through your window?
Isn't that neat? You like that, right? It's just so appropriate, especially for the sunshine state of mind that we are in.
You've got to have a sunshine state of mind here in Florida. That's the way we work, right?
Yes, love it. Good morning, and thank you all for joining us. Buenos dias, and that's as far as I can say internationally.
You know what? That works. That works. You know, and of course, to our viewers in the Philippines, maganda gabi. So that's where we definitely want to greet everyone who's staying up late to watch us. How about there in Pensacola? Good morning, Sister Charisse.
Good morning, everyone. Sister Charisse here in Pensacola. The snow has melted. It's nice and sunny here today. It's going to be beautiful. So we're very excited that we get to enjoy some really nice weather for this week. I think if I remember correctly, it looked like it was going to be in the 60s. So that's good weather. It's layering weather, according to Sister Audrey.
Yes. Now, Sister Audrey would be joining us. She's having a little bit of connection difficulties, so hopefully she'll be able to get back on. But when we talk about the weather, it's absolutely crazy here in Florida. We're going to be talking in a future episode, actually next week. We're going to be giving you a bit of a teaser about next week's show. But, you know, one of the great things about living in Florida is you do get to wear all of those different layers of clothing and different, you know, you can dress differently all within the course of a day here, right? You could be dressed for winter in the morning, Sister Joy.
Absolutely. Look at me. I stepped outside and I still have my jacket on from this morning.
and then ready to hit the beach by the afternoon.
There
right?
you go.
When it's about 75 degrees. So that's one of the beauties about living here in Florida. And of course, we'll be talking more about that next week. But today's show is really going to be focused on how is it that we use our smartphones. And, you know, our smartphones are sort of attached to the hip for us nowadays, right? And I think that that's one of the things that really drives so much of its usage, is because now they become, in the term that we use, is ubiquitous, meaning that it's just everywhere, right? It's used for everything. It's used for all these different purposes. So why don't we just go ahead and hop right into our program this morning? And
is that the word of the day, Brother Rob? I'm so sorry. I'm very surprised by that. What is the word again?
The word is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means that it's everywhere. It's used globally, or it's used universally. So it's ubiquitous. So if you can spell it, Sister Charisse, you get an extra bonus. Right.
I feel like the challenge of the day is trying to use that in conversation.
Yes, everyone's got to use the word ubiquitous in a conversation at some point today. You've got to let us know. So please chime in on the chat, because we also want to hear from you guys about what your favorite uses of your smartphone are. And if Kuya Tech, if you could put us in grid there in the thumbnail view, this way we can go through and start talking about all of the different ways that we use our smartphone. But Sister Charisse, can you kind of walk us through what all of the different categories or types of use there is with a smartphone. We got a short list here. I don't think this list necessarily does it justice, but I think this is a good start. So why don't we talk about each of these different things and how people use them in our daily lives?
Oh, I feel like with smartphones, like we've come such a far way from where we were before, from like the Nokias, the flip phones. And I feel like at
Oh
one
my
point in
goodness,
time,
I remember that.
remember that? And everyone was like, "Ah, I can't wait for the future when, we're able to start having like a mini computer in our hands." And now look at us. We thought flying cars, but at least we got mini computers in our hands. So that's always nice. But, it's the convenience of it. I think for me as like as it's not even about being, I love to use my phone because I love capturing memories that I see with my kids, like the opportunities to be able to not search for your big camcorder or your Sony camera, but just have it at your hand so you can instantly record and snapshot moments that you want to capture. So for me, I love that. And then as well as just being able to communicate quickly, if I need to be able to get a hold of my husband, and I don't know where he is, there's apps that I can locate him.
Oh wait, does he know that? Does he know that?
Because he sent me the app. He said, honey, I need to know where you are at all times for peace of mind and for your security. So I said, oh, that's so sweet. And so, yes.
And it's not just to be sure you're not at the mall, right?
Well, not shopping where I don't need to be shopping at, spending money where it doesn't need to be
that
spent.
you don't think. Brother Eric is pretty clever when it comes to that.
Well, I hear that you can also put it on airplane mode. So, but no, I wouldn't do that to him.
No.
But yes, the convenience and accessibility. I mean, like smartphones, they provide like instant access to so much information. You could anytime, anywhere. I think at one point, at one point, I told my son this because it hit me the other day. I was just like, did you know that before there was Google, there was actually Yahoo? And I don't know if anyone remembers, but Ask Jeeves. Does anyone remember Ask Jeeves?
Oh, Ask Jeeves, the search engine? Oh, I remember that. That
Oh
was
my! My son was like, "What is that?" But we had to be on a computer to be able to find those things. So now it's just whatever information that you like. If my husband asks me a question and I'm like, "You have a phone. Can you just look up and find out the answer yourself?" It's all there. And then, like I said, the communication. You're able to calls, messages, video chats. That's come a long way. But at one point, I don't know if anyone remembers the calling cards. I feel like our parents, be able to communicate, we're using calling cards. If I told my son that there was a such thing as a calling card, he would probably be like, what is that? To be able to call, internationally. But now we've come to a point to where you just hop on your phone and you can video chat, your family all over the world, which I think is just amazing. And then productivity, all the apps, they help so much, not only just with organization, but your time management, work related tasks, emails, your calendar, your cloud storage, everything's in the cloud, everything's in the storage somewhere. So to be able to have that productivity, I mean, it's just so much. And then entertainment, that's a big one. I feel like a lot of people like, I use mine for music. I do enjoy listening to music every now and then, games, anything to just relax you. It's just there's so much that you can do with that. Now, the one big thing I will say I use my phone for a lot also is navigation and travel. So I use mine for Google Maps all the time, GPS. And the funny thing is that the reason why I always jump on and put my Google Maps before I even start out the driveway, I need to figure out how late I'm going to be to the destination I'm going to. That is my biggest thing. How late am I running today? So that's what I use it for. And then health and fitness, photography, like I just said, videography and photography, the not being able to have to use a camcorder anymore. And then also being able to, edit your own photos, I think is a really great feature. I'm not that editor savvy yet.
But that's a good point though. Sorry to interrupt, because the apps that are on these smartphones today make anyone who is creatively challenged, I'm pointing at myself, and it makes us look like
feel seen.
geniuses. There are apps out there that you could take a graphic and manipulate it, whether it's using AI or not, or apps that make your presentations look so much better, look so much more professional. They look so much better than the Stickman graphic that I would be using if it wasn't for that. But that's really, I think, where the big difference is, right?
There is a huge difference. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere, but I have not come across the app yet. But it has to be. But I feel like there is one to where you can, like you just said, manipulate your pictures to like your background. Like you can, I guess, like trace yourself out of it. And then, oh, look, now I'm in Italy. So I haven't come across that app yet. I would like that because,
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Maybe because my son, he'll probably be like, look, Mom, I'm in space. Kind of.
Everybody who follows me on Facebook thinks that I've traveled the whole world, and actually I've been sitting here in my office the entire time. So
that yes, you to be able to travel without having to travel is the beauty of it.
All those filters. Oh my goodness.
I know. To be able to what is it? Makeup filters too. Like I think I had a friend. I was like, don't post that picture of me. I look horrible. And she was like, wait, let me show you. And then like instantly was like, oh, that's not me though. But yes,
that is the app that I need. I need that app.
And then my favorite thing also is the health and fitness. I love to use my phone as well for like tracking my exercise, daily step counts. I also like I walk a lot in the mornings. So for me, I'm able to see, it lets me know whether or not I've hit my mile marker yet. So I enjoy using the health apps for that. And then sleep. This is a big one for me. I also use to see how well I've been sleeping, how many hours did I sleep. And then what's interesting enough as well is that it lets you know, so apparently I'm not a deep sleeper. I probably get maybe 10 minutes of deep sleep a night. The rest of it is just light sleeping. And I don't know how to get past that, but that's probably why I feel like I don't sleep well at all. So that's a big one that I like. And then online shopping and banking. I mean, you don't even have to go to the bank anymore. You don't even have, if you're a type of person who is afraid to show up and nervous about talking to people, then you can just go ahead and transfer money on your bank, on your phone, So that's great. And then online shopping, people who don't like to leave their house or don't like big crowds or anything like that, online shopping as well.
I think that has changed the paradigm of how people go shopping, right? I mean,
it's so much that it's grocery shopping now too. Groceries delivered to your house. Like I said, if you're not a type of person who likes to leave their house, if you're like Brother Rob and you just like to post pictures that you've traveled everywhere, but you still need groceries, boom, you gotta come
Someone got called out there.
And now I have been to some of the destinations that are on there, but we'll leave it at that.
And then the biggest one, I feel like I want to, for me, I feel like the education and learning, I feel like that is at least on my end, I feel like it's so underutilized for me. Yes, I do use it for Kindle. I do love to read, but I feel like I'm not, maximizing the potential of being able to just, expand your knowledge of things and, online courses. So I feel like like I said, look at this list. There's so much you can do with a smartphone. And I feel like it shouldn't just be, just only on entertain. A lot of people just use it for entertainment, me, myself. But there's just so much that you can do with it.
Well, you know what? I think that's a great segue, Sister Cherise. Why don't we find out what it is that we as hosts, speaking of calling each other out, let's find out that we as hosts, where it is that we spend the majority of our time on our smartphones by asking us, what is your favorite smartphone app? And I think that I'm not, it wouldn't do it justice if we didn't start with, of course, our dear Sister Joy. So Sister Joy, you gave us a list, right? You gave us a list. So let's talk about this list really quick. So what are these things on the list here?
Okay, so one of my top, and I have to say this because every time Brother Billy, my husband, will say, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you looking at?" I'm usually like on Costco, and like you mentioned about online shopping, I love going to the warehouse. Okay, I think I love it too much. Sometimes Brother Billy is like, "Can you come home already? You've been there like for 8 hours." But and then I come back home.
There's
like,
there's so many aisles. There's so many
oh,
aisles that you
I
want to
love it.
investigate. Like
Yes.
what's on, where's the yellow tags? What's on sale?
Listen, it's almost like a theme park because if I take the kids, I lose them too because they're at every sample. So, and then I come home and I'm still on the app, right? So I feel like every time he asks me, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just seeing what else is on sale at Costco." He's like, "Weren't you just there yesterday?" Yeah. So, Costco is definitely one of my top ones. The next to Costco, again, it's Sam's it's Sam's Club. It's another warehouse. So Brother Billy's like, you were just at Costco. What could Sam's have that Costco doesn't? Um, I don't know. It's just
Apparently a lot. So
a lot, yes. So and then Publix, I love clipping the coupons. Publix is one of the like local grocery stores. Look at
here in
that,
Florida. Yeah.
And yeah, I like clipping coupons, and they're kind of famous for something called BOGO, which is buy one and you get one free. So
Yeah.
I like that. Those are the things I like. And then of course, Amazon online shopping again. I love my Audible app. For those of you who might not know, Audible is like you can listen to audiobooks, things like that, and even have like plays read to you and things like that. A podcast, I love podcasts, and then we're INCRadio. So
That's a
of course,
listen. Yeah,
those
of
are my
course.
things,
You
right?
got to listen to that. So that should be the top of your list.
Yes, that's if you
Like the
ask me,
top of your list should
that
be
is
like
definitely it.
podcasts and YouTube.
Mhm.
Well, so we've learned obviously that what we think versus what reality is usually revealed when you take a look at the data. And the one thing about a smartphone is smartphones are smarter than us. And one of the things that you'll realize is that smartphones help to keep track of usage. And so despite her assumption that she spends the majority of her time at Costco, according to her data,
There you go.
this is where Sister Joy spends most of her time.
I'll just put my head down from here.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Communicating with friends, right? Communicating with family and coordination. That's great. That's what one of the uses of smartphones are. And then Google, of course, you're using that because you're looking up where the closest Costco is, right? Where the closest Sam's Club is.
There
That's
you go.
obviously why you're doing it. You obviously, just based on this, you love to stay in touch. You
I
love
do.
to communicate. All of this stuff is really focused on communication. Walmart did make it on the list here for shopping.
Isn't that funny? I happened to
Even
be at
though,
Walmart that day
like,
too. So
where's the love for Costco and Sam's and Publix here? I don't see them. So
sorry, Walmart. Yes, I love you too.
so if you ever need to be
though-
kind of reminded, that's where you'll find it, is in the data. Sister
There you
Teresa.
go.
I was gonna say that I don't know if many of our viewers know, but this is something that I found out that I love, especially with the Walmart app. I'm not sure about the other ones, but Walmart, like let's say I'm like, oh my goodness, I need flour. What aisle is it? Or masking tape? What aisle is the masking tape on at this location of the Walmart that I'm in? And it would actually tell you like aisle
Yeah.
31. But then you got to look for
Yeah.
it. Where is aisle A31
Yeah,
at?
you
I
don't
don't know.
realize that aisle 31
not
is
in
like
order.
500 feet long, and
But at least it has a map. So it's like you are here, and then you can be able
Super
to find it.
helpful.
I thought that
Super
was actually
helpful.
really helpful for those types of apps.
It
For
is.
people who aren't aware. But yes.
Now let's take a look at the next.
Oh.
Sister Charisse.
Oh.
Run us through your list here really quick. So these are the apps that you love.
Yes, these are the apps that in my mind I love and that I am on the most. And so TikTok, yes, TikTok is a big one. We've all heard that it was, but for me, I like to, like I said, education and learning, I try to maximize it. So there's so much DIY on TikTok, and I'm really into that stuff. We
And
just
recipes
recently,
too, right?
and recipes too. We bought a house 2 years ago, so I'm always just trying to,
Bought it on TikTok.
what was it?
You bought your house on TikTok?
I did not buy my. Well, you
That
probably
is
could. They have shown that apparently on Amazon you can purchase like build your own homes, which is shocking. But no, I like DIY purposes, lifestyle. That's a big one for me. Like recipes, workouts is a big thing. I've been really trying to get in tune with health and fitness over this past year, so that's been a great one. And then skincare. But like I said, there's my maps. I love Google Apps, Maps, Messages, Chrome, Gmail. Samsung Health is what I use for my mile counter. And of course, my Amazon apps, which is music, shopping, Kindle. I didn't put on there Alexa The one thing I love to do with Alexa is I have a brother Eric has put Alexas literally in.
All over the house.
I just
Yep.
said Alexa, and one of them just turned on. Like they're all over my house. And so if I need to communicate with one of the kids, or if I'm like at work and the kids are at home and they're not answering their phones, whoop, I just go on Alexa app and I announce. Brother Eric does it all the time. He'll say, Caden, take the dog outside. Caden, take the trash out before you go to school. Like you will hear Alexa announce this. So I love that communication. Telegram, WhatsApp, I like to use a lot as well. And then of course, YouTube and Instagram, for my lifestyle, my DIY videos.
For the DIY stuff, right? And the one thing about Amazon, though, they need to step it up a little bit with Alexa, because as you say it with Alexa, every time you mention her name, now she's listening. If they could just go ahead and have her, instead of giving the commands, just actually take the trash out for me,
Right?
Alexa.
Well, apparently you can change
Wash
her
my
name.
car for me, Alexa. So this way we don't, why do we have to have her tell us what to do? Alexa
Right.
should just be doing it. All right. Well, that great list. And with yours, I don't think it was much of a surprise, as it was with Sister Joy here. But let's talk about some self-reflection for Sister Audrey. Sister Audrey, let's run down your list here.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, so it's definitely changed. I mean, I think when we were prepping for this topic, kind of gravitated towards the social media platform as probably being my most used. Clearly, it's still up there, but the top most used is going to be motherhood taking over my life. So that Huckleberry app, I mean, it's where everything we keep track regarding our son. So our, his playtime, what activities he's doing, how much he's feeding, how long I'm nursing, diapers.
Wait a minute, you have an app for all that now?
Yes.
It does
And then, I
everything.
mean, for any new moms out there, this app has been our saving grace, because it's relieved any sort of uncertainty or stress of like, am I feeding my son enough? Is this going to be enough for him? And are we doing enough tummy time for him during this milestone? And it offers like insights, so like helpful hints too. And it tracks the data of when you record his sleep schedule, like when is a good time for him to start winding down, like that sweet spot before he gets too cranky. And then it'll show you, like, according to his month or his age, if he should be doing maybe 3 naps a day, or if he's ready for 3 naps a day, or if we should still continue at a 4 nap schedule. I
just keep thinking about like, oh, my poor kids. Like I had to go to the library. And there was probably an app at the time, but
it's
No, I had
even
that
more
book.
frightening for us because we just took a guess.
We took a guess.
When was the last
We
time you
relied
ate?
on our parents. I relied on my mother to
feed the
tell
kids
me what
today?
to do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
wow.
And especially when you're in that postpartum fog, and my husband or brother Robert will ask me, like, when did he feed last? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. Yesterday? Was it a minute ago? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. I
Now
feel
we'll ask. Does your husband use this app as well? Is it?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh.
so he did until my mother-in-law and my father-in-law kicked him out. So the grandparents have this app because they're the ones that are with baby Jay the most. So they are all hands-on. And I mean, it's great because as I'm at work, to appease any uncertainty or just like missing my baby, I'm going on the app and looking like, what did you do today, buddy?
Oh, but that's nice. But then also, there's also this learning curve, I'm sure, for the grandparents, right? Like you got to learn how to look at that nod.
It took a little bit. It took a little bit, but we finally caught on. I think we're getting the data on there. Well, Sister Audrey, we're down to our last 5 minutes, so I want to be able to jump into. I know fastest 30 minutes on radio, right? But there is going to be a follow-up to this because we are going to be doing a show on how to help manage these apps and how it is that we're using the apps, and more appropriately, how it is that we can sort of limit our use on certain apps. Obviously, with things like Sister Audrey's Huckleberry app, we want to stay on that as much as possible, right?
Mhm.
So let's jump really quick to ours, because one of the things that I wanted to talk about also is we do have, and stay tuned, we have our top 10 engagers for last month. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a second. But for me, I don't think it was as much of a surprise. The My D-Link app is an app that tracks Baby J. It tracks Baby J's activity. So this way I'm able to watch him when we're watching him here. My wife and I trade off, and we are able to keep tabs on him. That's the monitor that we use, is the My D-Link app, which is why you see that there's a tremendous amount of usage, because it's on all the time. You want to make sure the Baby J is safe, comfortable, and of course, when it's time to feed him. Communication is a big thing for me, as you can see there. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, no big surprises there for people my age. Facebook over Instagram, right? Not as much on TikTok. In fact, non-existent, because I don't know where to find the TikTok app on my phone anymore. The notes app is important because I keep tabs and I write notes, because at my age, I literally have to write down everything or else I will forget it. So if somebody says something to me, I'm opening the notes app and I'm putting notes in the app to remind myself. And photos, I use it a lot for photography, as you can see. That's probably one of my biggest uses of it. And I keep up with the news. So, watching the NBC app is something that is constantly running in the background for me. And of course, Google Maps, because at my age, I'm probably going to get lost without it. In addition to, of course, understanding traffic patterns. So, and then the nice thing is, on your phone, you can also track to see what categories of apps it is that you're using the most. And as you can see, productivity and finance for me are probably some of the highest. But and again, these will fluctuate based on the week or the day, because just as Sister Audrey said, and I think Sister Joy and Sister Teresa all mentioned too, certain weeks you may be using an app more so than another week, right? So you have to look at it holistically, like kind of a broader view of all of the different apps when you're doing this. But we're going to be talking about this in an upcoming show to help you guys understand how to better manage those apps. So down to the last 2 minutes, I wanted to talk about who the top 10 engages were for the month of January. So congratulations to our top 10 here.
Love it.
Number 1, Sister Melka Newcomb with 56. And then followed closely by Sister Chelsea there at 34, Sister Annalise at 32, Brother Ryan at 26, and of course, the rest of our viewers that are down here. We want to thank all of you for supporting, engaging, and watching. Sister Melka, you've got your swag coming to you here very soon. We're going to be sending it to you via delivery by one of our hosts there in Florida. But please continue to do so this month, because we're going to do this again in the next month, and we're going to be tracking how much time it is that you guys are spending. And of course, we see our out-of-towners, Brother Oliver and Brother Adrian even made the list there, and our District Kadiwa president, along with Brother Mark Bernal, and of course, Sister Lulu. Can't imagine why she'd be watching the show, right? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining again. Next week, our topic is, why is it that you love living in the Sunshine State? So we would love to hear from you guys. So please message me or Sister Joy or any of the hosts. What is it that you love most about living in Florida? And we're going to go ahead and include that in the upcoming episode and share why is it we all love living in the Sunshine State. There's so many reasons, right? Whether it's the weather, the convenience of being able to go to all the amusement parks, the food, whatever that reason is, we want to hear about it. So please stay tuned next week. Stay tuned now, because our friends over at South Central States, INCRadio Satellite Studio, are coming up next. This is Brother Robert Topalis here in Tampa, Florida, for Sister Charisse that's up there in Pensacola, Sister Joy there in Orlando, and Sister Audrey, joined by Baby J there in Tampa as well. Thank you all for joining the show this morning. We will see you next week on INCRadio.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.